Okay, awesome. Do you feel as though you are accurately represented in the media? Discuss.
As in Twitter, Instagram?
No, like commercials on TV. Like toys, anything. Like
for like makeup products.
Makeup products?
There. It's there. Like matching tones and stuff.
I don't know.
I think, like, for me, there's, like, well, like, it's getting better, but, like, I feel like a lot of the times it's, like, people that aren't, like, my complexion, like, they're, like, lighter. I don't know. Or at least for, I don't know.
Anyone else? And also, when you are represented in media, do you feel as though it's positively or more negatively? And this can also count for, like, TV shows and other stuff, just in general, anything.
I feel like it's negative.
Yeah.
It's
mostly stereotypes and generalizations of black people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it's incorrect, so.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Okay, so do you feel like the stereotypes are, like, personally? Like, do you take them personally, or do you think it's just as a race in general?
I don't take them personally. I think that, like, it's just as a race in general. And, I don't know. I could see how some of the, like, you could see with some people in our race, like, those stereotypes would fit them, but it's not the majority of the people in our race.
I agree.
Okay, so next question. Are you familiar of what colorism is, and what do you think it is? What do you think?
I'm not that familiar, but I feel like I have a general understanding.
Yeah.
I need a definition.
I think I know what it is. Is colorism just, like, when, like, someone who is, like, based off your color, like, you're better? Like, just, like, if you, based on your skin tone and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a general gist. So basically it's like in all cultures, not in all cultures, but it's represented in a lot of cultures, whereas it's biased against tone rather than race. So it's like negative connotation towards darker and lighter. And also, do you believe that it exists?
Yes.
Definitely.
And how strongly? Like, how prevalent do you think it is?
Very
prevalent.
On a 1 to 10 scale, it's a 9.
I think it comes up, like, every day, and it's not just, like, I don't know, it goes both ways, like you said, against light skins or against dark skins. Like, I've seen people who would say stuff like light skins are better in this way, and then people who would be like, oh, you're light skinned, so you can't, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't mess with you because you're light skinned, or I wouldn't
Yeah,
mess with you
so,
'cause you're
like,
dark skinned.
I think it's also internal too.
Yeah.
Like not majority, but some people probably don't realize that they're doing it. But they
Yeah.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where do you think that comes from? Like, do you think it comes from just being, like, growing up in this country, in this society? Or do you just think people...
I think it came from...
That's a good question.
It's like environmental factors, I think.
Yeah, I think, like, with history, you know, like, our history as...
I didn't want to say it.
Our history as a race, so, like, some people would start to think, like, well, the whole light skin thing, if people were thinking, like, if people think light skins are better, like, some people might think that because they were able to fit in more with, like, the white race. And so it was easier for them at one point, but then, like, as times changed, then like, people began to have, like, harsh feelings towards, like, light skin. So then it was like, if you're dark skin, you're better. Like, if you're light skin, you shouldn't be included with, like, the black race and stuff. And those, like, negative feelings.
It's really just reminded me of, you know, slavery back in the day. Because, you know, the house slaves and then the field slaves had a lot to do with colorism. So it's been around for generations.
Yeah.
Also in other cultures, like, there's, like, this thing called, like, whitewashing or whatever. It's like, there's products out in, like, Middle East and, like, Southeast Asia that you can, like, get to, like, whiten your skin.
Oh, yeah. But
And
I
it's
was
a
in the
huge
store
industry.
recently over the weekend,
Me
and I
too.
saw skin whitener.
That's
there.
what I saw it too. I saw that when I went to get, like, my
crazy.
hair products and stuff. And I was just like, wow, like,
Oh, I saw
right
it in
here.
Giant.
Oh, wow.
Giant.
Yeah. I was picking up something, and I saw it, and I was like, the freak? Okay.
Yeah.
And that joint was almost gone.
Oh,
That's what really confused me.
Yeah,
It
it's,
was
like,
almost
actually
gone.
a huge industry, especially overseas.
People
Yeah.
are crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
People use it so
So
much,
much,
like
yeah.
lotion.
And
Yeah.
also, like, with the hair thing, like, people,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
now people are really starting to embrace being natural, but for a long time, people would get perms and stuff.
And straight
their
and
hair-
relaxer.
Yeah, and
That was
relaxer so
me.
that their hair,
Yeah.
so that their hair could be straight because that was what was more acceptable.
Acceptable.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like I just started like not like a couple years ago, not getting like perms anymore because
yeah.
yeah.
I used to
I
straighten
get
my hair all the time. I used to straighten it
too.
like once a week so that I could like have straight.
We all saw me freshman year, so we don't even need to put it out.
And then it's like, because even like in the older generation, like they didn't do this whole natural thing. So like when you first like start going natural and your hair's like in that really like awkward stage,
Ooh, bruh.
they're like,
Napoli
oh,
ever
like
after?
I know like
Yes.
my aunt was like, ooh, what are you doing with that hair? Like,
Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah.
Like you need to put it up. Like put it
Yeah.
up.
My
You
mom
need
tried
a-
to say that to me last year, and I said, girl, if you don't get the heck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it just comes with like generational, and just now we're starting to like break out of it. And have you personally experienced colorism? Do you
Yes.
think?
Mhm.
Yeah.
In what way? Like,
Well, not as much now because I feel like as we've grown up, like people aren't, our generation at least isn't really like that type of way.
mhm.
But at least when I was younger, people would say stuff to me about my skin color, and like for a long time I actually really did like wish that I was like darker skin or everything so that I could fit in, because I never felt like I fit in with my own race, even though I'm fully
Yeah.
black. People would be like, you can't be fully black and all this other stuff.
I said that
So
to
yeah.
her.
Yeah, I get that. When I was little, I used to get the question like, "What do you mix with?" or whatever,
Mm.
because my hair,
Yeah.
and like I was like, "I'm not."
Yeah.
Really. Like I am, but like way up.
And then
Yeah,
people, and then
same.
people
So
like
not.
telling you that,
Yeah.
trying to tell you what you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people
I
try to
really
tell you what
You're
you
not-
are, and I'm
you're not
like,
just
you
black.
don't know what I am.
Exactly.
Some people think you were white when we were little.
And then I also remember like, this isn't personal, but I remember like being younger, and like kids would act like, when kids would like fight and have like joning sessions, they would like, if a darker person was like being joned on, that would always be brought up. Be like, oh,
Oh,
you're
yes,
charcoal, oh, you're dark.
Yeah.
Like that was just like a thing, and nobody really thought of it that deep at the time. But like that can actually get to a person because they can't help what color they are. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When people try to say I was darker than them, I'll be like, so what? But I'm not as dark as blank. Yeah.
And that's like just like a subconscious type of thing because you don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's ironic now because all the white people are getting like spray tans.
Spray
and stuff.
tans,
Mhm.
yeah, and trying to be
Yeah,
more
yeah,
brown,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
like-
and then we're like with the whole skin lightening thing,
Right.
like people are on the opposite end of the spectrum trying to be more light. So like nobody, I feel like
Yeah.
nobody's accepting of their
Ooh,
color.
yeah.
But then
Yeah.
again, we all do it ourselves because we're always like, oh yeah, I get dark in the summer and I don't like it. Now I hate how dark I get in the summer.
Yeah.
True.
We do it and we don't even notice.
True, and then and also like my sister's friend, like she got a spray tan, and then she was like, oh my gosh, we're like the same color now.
No.
People put that stuff and they're like, "Oh look, I'm black now."
Yeah, and it's just really.
Someone said something. I'm not gonna say it now, but
So like it's like hard to be like, it's just really hard to like see that like be a thing, like, oh, I'm black now,
Yeah.
but then like you want to be black, but you don't want what comes with being black.
That's
don't
exactly what
wanna
I was
get
gonna
shot up
say.
in
Like
your
you
car.
don't wanna. Yeah. No, I've
I'm gonna
heard.
start saying that.
I remember hearing someone say, I mean, I don't know if this still has to do with colorism, but the other day, you probably know, it caught me off guard because someone that hangs out with a lot of people of our race was like, they used their race to their advantage, and they were like, it's fun being the minority. And in my head, I was like, you wouldn't believe that if you were the minority
Yeah.
in real life, like. In this situation, maybe, but not
But
like
in the world,
yeah.
like leaving PG County.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just dying laughing.
So, I mean, I guess we kind of already talked about it. My next question was, do you think the black experience is different with lighter skin than darker skin? And how different?
It's different.
Yeah, I think it's different, but I think there's challenges with both.
Yeah,
like
there's
it's not
challenges.
easier one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's the same challenges, but it's to different degrees.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
And can you
What-
elaborate?
Yeah, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I mean, as black people, we all have and face the same challenges. But I do feel like skin tone, with the skin tone thing, is to a different degree. Like, if you see a light skinned person, you'd be like, well, stereotypically, but like, if you see a light skinned person, you're like, oh, all right. But you see someone darker, you'd be like, you know, people who are not black, be like, you say a dark skinned person, be like, oh, that's probably a thug.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that does.
it has a different, like, with lights, well, with
Because
darker
when you
skinned
see
people.
mixed people, like, you're like, or light skinned people, you be like, oh yeah, they got some white in them. And you just see a dark person be like, that hoodlum.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
with dark skinned people, I feel like the challenges come with like interacting with people outside of your race,
Mhm.
and then with light skin, it's within your race because like with light skinned people, you may not be. They kind of use it against you. It's a
Yeah.
disadvantage
Yeah.
within your race because you feel like less of that race when compared, like
Oh no, but
talking to
even
them.
people not of that race too. Because they'll be like, oh yeah, they're not fully black, man, I can go hang with them. That's still
Yeah.
colorism.
Yeah.
Just not in a negative
Yeah.
way.
But it's more, it's
Yeah.
more their advantage with people that's not their race, whereas with dark skins, it's more an advantage with people that are their race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's pretty dividing because like everyone feels as though they're like you like together you're black, but then within that category it feels like you're separated.
Yeah.
You're separated. So it's just kind of hard because no one it's not everyone really sees eye to eye because I feel like society has made it so that we're separated in a way, even though we don't really like talk about it that much.
Yeah.
And have you ever like experienced bias based on your color?
Oh, just
Like
color in
people-
general?
Yeah, on your color, based on like have people ever like assumed something about you, or just like had bias, like acted a certain way based on the color of your skin?
Yes.
And in what ways? Like,
Oh, you want an example?
yeah, so you're giving an
Hold on,
example.
wait. Let me think now. Like I know it's happened. Like I don't know things off the top of my head.
Well, for me at least, people like expect me like when I like people expect me to be like really loud and like outgoing and stuff. I'm not like
Oh yeah,
a loud person.
you're like
People
the
expect
opposite of
you-
that.
yeah.
Complete
People
opposite.
People
expect me to know how to
expect me to
braid their
be.
hair.
Oh.
Yes.
I can't cornrow for my life.
People expect me to know how to cornrow, and I just cannot. Like, they're like, "Can you braid my hair?" I just automatically assuming I can. Do
Even
it,
though
and
I'm
I
good at
can't.
athletics, people expect me to be good before I
Yeah.
even tell them
Yeah.
before they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying because a lot of people are like, "Do you play basketball?" Because I'm tall and
Oh
black.
yeah, I
And I'm
hate
like,
that question. No, I don't
and
play
they're like,
basketball.
Do you run track? And I'm like, no. They're like, what do you play? And I'm like, well, at the time I would say lacrosse. And they'd be like, oh, like, what's that? I'm like, okay.
But then I feel like even now, if you said theater, like they wouldn't expect that answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, not
Like,
at
Like
all.
you
if I
said,
were
"Oh,
a
I'm
white
a
tall
theater
girl and I
kid."
said I played lacrosse, that wouldn't be a problem. But because I'm black, that's not a black sport.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I tell people where I live, they're like, "Oh, you live in PG?" No.
Yeah,
Exactly.
especially
No.
like
They
here.
just assume it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then, are you familiar with skin lightening products?
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. I really just.
I mean, I've heard about them, but I've never actually seen them.
I'm still
in the
dead
store.
that I literally saw it.
I
over
know
the
I
weekend.
saw
was
it,
like,
and I've
people
never
do
seen
this
it
still?
before.
I knew people do it back in the day, but I never knew people still did it.
Yeah.
I knew it happened in Africa, but I didn't think it was
In Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens in Africa too. It happens a lot.
Why?
It happens
It's
in
most
India.
popular in Africa. I think that's where it started.
It's most popular in India,
In India,
Africa.
yeah.
I know about India for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's based.
I just don't understand because it seems like the white
If you in
people-
Africa, why?
it seems like the white people want to be darker and
No,
then the
not
dark
like
people
that,
want to
but
be
like-
lighter.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
white people are always outside trying to get tan or always in a box trying to get tan, and then the black people are like over here scrubbing themselves trying to get white. I just don't understand why people can't just be content with
And
their
what's the
skin
balance?
color.
I'm sorry.
Like, what's the?
They
what's
still
the
use.
beauty?
I'm sorry. I'm still on this Africa part. They use it. What's the-
Because in Africa, like, okay, so I watched this.
I thought they would be more accepting of the skin color because
Well, they
like there's
are,
not a
but-
lot of.
I watched this video and it was like,
I mean,
Talking
there is,
about-
but because based on different countries,
yeah,
kind of.
and
Yeah.
also
You're not
like-
seen as dark skin, light skin. It's like everyone is like around the same skin color. You're like different from your country.
And they
I mean,
still
I just
consider
really
you
didn't
more
expect
beautiful if
that.
you're lighter. Like if you're the only light skin, everybody like wants you. Like they consider that to be the most beautiful still.
Even in
though,
Africa?
Yeah, even though everybody's dark, they still consider the light skins to be the most beautiful. So people are trying to achieve that beauty by getting skin lightening.
I
But
thought they
don't
would be more
see,
accepting
like,
there.
It's not. I don't understand why people have that idea. Like, if you're light skinned and you have long hair, like you're not automatically pretty. You can still have an ugly
you-
face. Like,
Oh, I saw one yesterday when we were in DC.
like,
That
I mean, I don't
doesn't
understand
define
Her hair was
like pretty.
beautiful though.
yeah, like your hair
hair
could be
was
very
beautiful.
pretty, and then you're still not like. There could be a very like a dark skinned person with like no hair, like. You know,
Yeah.
they cut all their hair
Gorgeous.
off, and they
Yeah.
could look
Oh,
better.
what's
better.
that girl's name?
I just,
Lupita.
Lupita.
Yeah.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah. And then she also had a lot of trouble like getting into the industry. Like no
Oh,
one had
yes,
makeup for her.
colorism.
People would give her the wrong makeup, make her makeup lighter for pictures. Then they wouldn't even like hire her because she was too dark for the magazines.
yeah, I think like Hollywood, in terms of black representation, like now it's better, but even in the 90s it was kind of corrupt. Like if you look at a lot of the old 90s sitcoms, it was always a dark-skinned male with a light-skinned woman.
Ooh, a different
Or-
world.
Or like the main character is light skinned and the sidekick is the dark skin.
Yeah.
So even
Or
that
like
like
the butt of the joke is dark skin.
yeah, like the double standard is always still like darker skin isn't as superior. Like with Martin, Gina was like the desired woman, and
Mhm.
Gina was
sorry,
like,
she's not-
I mean, what's the name?
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
The other one, and she was like the stereotypical.
Yeah,
she was,
black
like,
person. She was
ratchet.
really
Yeah,
loud and everything.
And Gina was like poised, and like Martin liked her.
And everyone
yeah.
wanted her.
And then even in the Cosby Show, like,
Hold on, Shawty.
well, not Felicia Rashad, but like, what's her name? I forgot that girl's name.
The one who's Zoe Kravitz's mom.
oh
Yeah. And then
Lisa
in a different
Bonet.
world, Whitley and the other
Zoe
guy. Like, there's just so many black and dark couples where it's never the dark-skinned girl with a light-skinned guy. It's always.
Yeah.
And also,
But I
there's
feel like
not
we're
a lot
getting
of
better at that now. A little
Yeah.
better. Not
Yeah,
too
just a
much,
little.
but a little.
And I feel like they try to, like, I don't know, they try to make it seem like it's different in commercials now because you always see these mixed race couples. Like, they're
Mhm.
But
trying
it's
to.
just a commercial.
Yeah.
That's what blows me.
But it's still not representing.
But
the
even when I
black
see the commercials,
families.
it's still someone light skinned. Yeah, it's mostly people that are light skinned, and it'll be like somebody white.
I think
Like they still don't even use other races though.
I think
If they want to be diverse.
Yeah, I also think they're fetishizing a certain like look,
Yeah.
which is also not good because like you're still like there's kind of a fetish that comes with black people, like how everyone now wants like a dark skinned guy and like a light.
Ooh, they want those mixed babies.
Yeah, mixed
Oh,
babies like
that good
That's
hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when
I'm sorry,
when
that's a
just
weird
because your
ass
kid is
fetish.
mixed doesn't mean they're gonna be any more beautiful than if they were one race.
I think the media is like worried or like trying to represent like black people instead of like the colors within black people, so they're just like choosing like
Yeah.
the lighter.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of them don't know. I think that also a lot of companies don't know the difference. So like when they pick like
Some light
people of color, they just like, oh, you're black. Like they don't realize. Like how in some shows they'll make the families and the families don't match. But I think it's because they don't
Bro,
know
they really be
that
struggling
you.
sometimes.
I don't think they realize that just because you're black doesn't mean you look alike.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, bro. Casey Undercover. That
Yeah,
whole
the
family had me
family
hella confused. I was like,
Like there's no similarities here.
But I mean, that's how my family is. Like,
no,
Yeah, me
Lauren,
too,
you guys
'cause
are
my
at least
sis-
close to the same color.
there's two of us that are
Zendaya
light
and
skinned,
Judy.
But your
and then
features
there's-
you have
Right.
similar
No, but
features
Judy
though.
was Judy was
They
like
just
a
see,
bot,
like-
so,
Oh,
like,
yeah, but-
Because me and
What
all my
was the
siblings
boy's
are
name?
different colors.
Yeah, I didn't
like
talk
my
about-
brothers, dark
Yeah.
skin.
That-
Both my
that
That
sisters
didn't
are
make
light
no
skin.
sense.
Yeah.
How Zendaya come out like? First of all, the parents were
Like, you
brown
could
skin.
still
And then
Zendaya
they
came out
also
light skin.
Yeah.
He came out
like that.
But I
don't
think
know.
that
dark
also
and
like
brown skin.
I think it's hard to get people with like a whole bunch of different people that look alike.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, the whole color thing. I think that part they try to, you know, well, they still try to have like the whole mix, like light skin, dark skin, and then try to get all these different shade children. Like,
Yeah.
But I feel like there's still probability though. Like my mom's light skin and my dad's I don't know. He's like brown skin in the middle of dark skin. But either way, we all came out different colors. See, but that makes sense because one's light skin and one's,
Yeah.
You can't have two brown skinned parents. 3 of them come out light skin and one comes out dark.
Well, my brother is darker than both my parents. but
Still.
Well,
But still.
my sister's like light bright, and I mean,
Kennedy.
yeah. And my my dad's not dark skinned, but like he's dark enough where you would be you could see that I would come from that, but she's
Yeah.
lighter than me. So if people used to talk about how
I used
light
to
I
think your
was,
sister
just
was
imagine
Spanish.
like her. And yeah, she's like the oddball. She has like all of the other features.
Yeah.
I was about to bring up that brick in his family.
Yeah, I was thinking like in movies they pick a lot of the same black actors. Like, I love Yara, but like she doesn't have to be cast in everything. And then that
And
other
she
girl,
doesn't represent.
Amanda
Oh,
Stenberg?
Amanda. Yeah.
Yes.
Amanda.
like they
and
act like
Yara.
she's the only black girl, and I'm
And
like,
she's not
sis.
fully
Oh,
black.
wait, is she the girl
She's in
that
The
played
Hate U
that
Give.
sick girl?
Yeah,
Yeah, and the one who
everything.
I
was
don't
in
really
that
like her
other-
acting.
Yeah.
I'm
and-
sorry.
That was just a dumb movie. Like
I didn't even see the movie. I just
love
saw
the
her and I don't like
movie.
her.
Yeah.
Well, you
No.
like
Acting that
stuff.
much.
Because that other movie
They did.
that Ava
She's in the new
Shonda
movie.
Rhimes did. Yeah, exactly. That's
Shonda
it.
Rhimes
Wait,
is an
the
amazing
Wrinkle
writer.
of
Yeah,
Time
she
Travel?
is.
Yes, that was a dumb movie.
That did not get ratings.
That was, and she
Wrinkle of
loved
Time.
it. I wanted my money back. A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh,
I
Bruh,
love
my
that.
mom watched it and I was like, why are you watching this?
I was sitting there. I was like, why did I pay for this?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was so forced. They tried to put that little black
It
girl with the
was-
white boy. I said that was so
Yeah,
forced.
I didn't think that.
Yeah,
Way
they're
too
always trying to
forced.
make mixed couples
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, not everybody has to be mixed. I don't have anything against like interracial couples,
Yeah.
but not everybody. That's not everybody's reality.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and they try to make that seem like that's everyone's.
And like I know on Twitter people talk about like, because most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time it's like a black man and a white woman.
Yes.
So like a lot of the time like the black man will like be like, oh, bashing black women kind of for the stereotypes. And I feel like that kind of comes into play with colorism. Like I don't want to like get too like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be offensive, but like that also comes into play where it's like, oh, I don't want a black girl because they're this, and that, and white women are this, and that. Like, you should just love somebody for who they are, not because you don't want another race.
Yeah.
Colorism within your own race.
Yeah.
But like
polarizing.
some people, I think another problem is like in the black community, not everybody acknowledges colorism. So like if you refuse to believe that it exists, then it's kind of hard to go about solving the issue. Like if
Mhm.
I'm a light-skinned person, I'm like, it's like a battle of who has it worse. Like light-skins are like, well, this is a generalization, but mostly they're like, oh, I feel as though I don't belong because I'm not dark enough. And then if you are dark like me or darker, it's like, oh, well, you're too dark, da-da-da. Like, you know, it's like
Yeah.
there's no happy medium. And
Everyone's just seeing their own side and their own, and there's no better.
yeah, like if you're dark, yeah, you're black. Like you're considered included in the black community. Like you're valid, but you're not beautiful. And then if you're light, you're not all the way black. You don't count. You have to be mixed with something because you're so pretty. So that therefore it takes your blackness away. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
When we all have like our experiences, and all of our experiences are valid. And then, because we were talking about skin lightening, how do you feel about like the skin lightening products, and why do you think people indulge in them as much as they do?
I didn't even know they did.
They see fair skin tones as being gorgeous, pretty, as idealistic, and it builds up insecurities and makes them want to be and feel pretty. And yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I think people just like see, like representation wise, like they see the people on the magazines and like
Oh, yeah,
on
and
the
the
billboards and
billboards.
stuff. And they want to look like, it kind of goes back to achieving like unrealistic ideas of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to look like those people. So, because they don't see themselves I can't
Represented?
speak. Yeah, represented.
They're basically setting up races.
Yeah, so they don't see anybody like putting them on a pedestal. So they're like, oh, I have to be this in order to be acceptable. And I don't think the companies...
And, like, even on a, like, smaller scale, you see that in a lot with, like, the natural hair movement. Like, in terms of successful natural hair listas or whatever, like, influencers, a lot of the people who have the most followers are the type with, like, the 3C or whatever, the special curl pattern, as opposed to the girl with 4C. And, like, it's kind of, like, you want to say that it's not intentional or, like, it's just a coincidence, but, like, when you're looking for your hair type and for hairstyles for your hair type, and all that shows up is, like, the light skins or people who don't have your, like, it's, like, that's superior. And so, therefore, you're like, why isn't my hair? It's, like, that same Billboard thing where it's, like, the other hair type is always commercialized and stuff, so you want your hair to be like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's getting a lot more, like, it's getting a lot better now.
I think the color thing is getting better, but the hair thing is getting worse.
Yeah, because now the natural hair
Because, like,
movement is
even
so
though people are
prominent.
trying to go natural, it's like, okay, you have to...
There's
if you want to go
rules.
natural,
There's
then
rules
it
for being
then it
natural.
has to look like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It's like it's not just you go natural. It's like
Yeah,
natural.
like your edges have to be done.
Yeah.
Your
Like,
hair has to
I
be
hate,
sleek.
Ugh, that whole edges
too
thing
much.
annoys me. It's like, oh, I want to go natural, so you go natural wet your hair. You're like, crap, it doesn't look like I thought it was gonna look like.
That
Yeah.
happened to
So
me.
much.
I didn't think, like, I thought I
thought
watched
I was
a
gonna
whole
have
bunch
that.
of
Bro, you
natural
do it
videos.
step by step to be
Exactly.
like, so how she get hers like that, but
Yeah,
mine
you're trying to
like
manipulate
this.
you. Or when girls are like,
Exactly.
ooh, look at the, oh, you need to lay your edges in it. It's like, okay, yours might lay, but mine don't. And so I shouldn't have to force them to lay. Like, if your hair is black, you're not going to force it to, like, be blonde or something when it just
Yeah.
can't be blonde. So, like,
I mean,
well,
some
you
people
can
do.
lighten
They,
I mean,
but it's just
naturally.
different. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you can easily lay your edges and it looks nice, that's cool. But if I actually cannot, or it takes
shouldn't
10
be
times more
unacceptable.
effort,
There's
then you
definitely
shouldn't,
like natural hair
ridicule
bias.
me.
People just like
Yeah.
done with some water and eco.
Yeah.
I gotta use Gorilla Snot, eco,
Eco,
Hicks,
every step.
everything.
Like, if I did a messy bun and then, like, Lauren or Ariana or somebody did a messy bun, it's different. Like, mine is more
See,
messy as in,
I
like,
can't even try to do that. My hair just won't go up like that.
Like, a messy
and
bun
everybody
is
be
just
like, why don't you do a bun? Because my hair cannot do it. I can't. Please stop.
Yeah, and then if you do, like going natural is literally, like, the whole movement is about embracing yourself, and then you're telling people that they shouldn't embrace
Yeah, they should
themselves.
only embrace it.
And then
to this
people try to
extent.
give you tips and be like, well, did you try? Yes, I
I
tried. I
tried.
tried multiple times. You don't understand. It
It's
doesn't
not
work.
my hair, and it's not, like, represented in anything else. Like, I watched so many natural hair videos before I went natural, and then when I went natural and, like, my hair started coming in and I, like, chopped off, like, the dead stuff, I was like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like,
Girl,
I
I
don't
wanted
know
to
how to do my
cry.
hair. Like, I hate my hair type of stuff.
I tried so hard. Like, I mean, now it's finally coming together, but since I have, like, I didn't realize that you could have more than one type, like, pattern in your hair.
yeah.
So I was trying this. I was looking at
Yeah.
this video. I was like, oh, the front part of my hair looks like this. Let me try it on whole
Yeah.
thing. And then it just wouldn't look good. And then I try something, and then it doesn't look good on, like, the front half, and it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my last question is, how should we go about confronting / combating colorism and general bias in the community? Or in the
Honestly,
world,
I just
honestly.
believe it's based upon every person. You can't really change it as a whole, but you can do stuff to, like, try to stop it. Like, as far as the billboards and stuff, get better representation.
Yeah. I think,
But, like, it's all still based upon every singular person.
yeah.
I think eventually, like, depending on how media represents the black race, people can grow out of it. Like, if the next generation is brought up that, like, all skins and tones is, like, normal or pretty or whatever, then people won't have that, like, conception of, like, oh, like, dark skins are worse than or whatever.
Yeah.
Ooh, like, see, I tell people I don't have a type, and people be like, well, no, I only date black people. Like, oh, I only date white people.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with the person. Well, nothing wrong with color. It's all about the person.
Yeah. I mean, then I agree with that, but also people would try to argue, like, well, I can have a type, da-da-da. Like, you can have a preference, like,
Yeah.
oh, I prefer da-da-da, but you shouldn't knock off a complete race just
Yeah.
because it's their race.
I don't think it should be, like, intentional. If you just
Yeah.
happen to always choose the
Yeah.
same person, like, then
That's
for
just a
are you the
coincidence.
one?
Yeah. Yo, Tevin looks stacked. Like the Walmart.
Bro.
Like, when you just happen to choose, it's
I'm
that
sorry, wait.
good that you find somebody who
Shawty
looks just like that all the
upgraded, then
time.
downgraded right back when she went back to her ex. it made
I
no
know.
sense to me.
Yeah, like,
yeah, that's
I mean,
coincidence.
Because it's
Like,
different. She wasn't like, oh, I don't like anybody else, and I'm gonna go
I
for
only
this
like-
guy, because she still
Yeah.
tried to talk to other guys in the house, so it wasn't intentional.
But, like,
she was
Yeah,
like,
I
you
know
just
people that
gravitate
just be
towards
like,
that's okay.
I only
but
date
not
black
just saying,
people.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like I
because of
intentionally
skin
picked
tone.
this person
Yeah, like you
because
should
they
be like,
look
no Asians.
Yeah,
like
like-
instead you should be like, I don't prefer, like I normally did it up. Like if you talk to whatever Jim and then you end up liking Jim and he happens to be Asian, then there shouldn't be
Exactly.
and then like
Ain't nothing wrong with
fetishizing and
that.
stuff. Like I've heard like white people be like, oh, I only date black guys because they have like bigger things, and that's just
That's just like the
reason.
black guy only dating.
Oh
And that's
my
also
God.
a stereotype. Like your skin tone does not determine how big your stuff is.
No, wait. When I know, like, some white girls that dated black guys and used to get made fun of saying that you have jungle fever.
Jungle fever.
Yeah.
Bruh, that used to blow.
and there's
the
a whole
mess out of
song
me.
about it.
There was a song.
Yeah, I'm not about to play it.
Let's
right
not
now,
do
but
that.
Yeah,
I don't want
there's
to
a
hear
song,
it.
but
That's gonna make me mad.
yeah, I think just as a community, we just have to like embrace each other more. Stop making generalizations about people we know nothing about just because of what they look like. Because you can't just assume someone's a certain way because they're light, dark, black, or white. You have to
Yeah.
actually talk to the person and get to know them.
And also, I think it's important that people know that there's black people outside of America. Like, some people are like, I remember I was in Spain and somebody was like, wait, black people can speak French? And I was
we
like,
talked about
do
this in
you not know
African-American
about
studies.
half of the countries in Africa where French is the native language?
Yeah.
Like, not all black people are like
The same.
Americans. Like, you have
Yeah.
like African blacks and you have British
There's
blacks.
blacks,
Like
yeah.
there's different types of black culture. So
Right.
we're all black, but we all have different.
Yeah,
you know.
and you have like
It's really
Creole
crazy.
blacks
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
York,
But
New York.
still, like, even in that way, like, we're definitely divided, like, even with the whole color thing, but just, like, the nationalities. Because you know
Yeah.
how, like, African people, if you, like, say you're black, they'll be like, I'm African. Like, some people
Yeah.
will be like,
Yeah.
I'm African.
Africans
like,
do not
you're
claim
black,
black.
as well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't go around saying, like, when people say I'm black, I don't go around being like, I'm American. Like,
Yeah.
You're black as well.
But I mean, some people do mean that they're African because their parents might literally be from Africa.
But they're black as well. Like, it's based
You're
on
so black.
Yeah.
It depends on
There's
the
I mean-
African. There's African American black. There's African black. You know, the British.
I just think
blacks.
they might say
Black is
African so that you don't
black.
assume that they're just
I know that's
African American.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they try to, you know, I don't know.
So I remember I was watching a British
off the
video
whole
and they were
race.
both black. It was like
See,
a,
that's
a group
negative
of black girls.
connotation 'cause
And
that's
they
what
lived in
British
British.
is.
I mean,
They
in
lived in
England. They
England.
lived in
Yeah, that's
England,
what I'm
and it was just
saying.
so
Which is
interesting
black.
because they all had the
It shouldn't
accent.
be that
They all use like these
negative.
different
They
words
don't
and had
be
like
like,
this whole
oh, no,
different
I'm
culture and
African.
dynamic. But they looked like me, so like it's just
Yeah,
weird.
it's just
Because like if it was a white person, it's like, oh okay.
But you
like,
know what I hate?
But then
When
it's
African
like,
people ask, "What country are you from?" I don't know what freaking
I don't
country my
know.
ancestors came from.
No, I was thinking. I
I'd be
was.
like,
I felt
I
so
don't
weird
know.
because some people in my art class earlier they were talking about, oh yeah, like I have family from Greece and they were like Scotland and Ireland.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't
I got
know.
I don't
family
even
from
know.
Africa.
I
I
have
don't
family
know.
from North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know where they came from before
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
And I think just like in representation, we could change it too. So like starting from a young age, like the toys and stuff you play with,
Mhm.
like having everybody
True.
represent.
No black
I
dolls,
can't
bruh.
say that word.
Yeah, there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bratz. The
Bratz,
darkest brat was who?
Oh.
Was
Jasmine.
Yasmin.
Yasmin.
Oh, Yasmin.
She was like my.
She
and
wasn't
girl-
black.
She was barely
Jasmine?
black,
She was-
and that would be the only one I used. 'Cause I was like, "Mommy, she doesn't
American
look like me."
Girl dolls, yeah.
Oh yeah, they,
They
were.
never-
yeah.
they were the
Addie
first
was
that
the
started
only
it.
like Addie was
Yeah.
the one.
She was the first one.
No, but
I
you
think
could create
they.
your own one.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
Nowadays,
but even
like,
but
I have to go
the
through the
most
work
of
to get
them
my
were
own
light
and create my
skin.
own.
Yeah,
When
that's
some
true.
white
It was
folks
like
just
the
walk in and be
white
like,
ones,
"Oh
and
my
then
Oh,
God,
there's
black
me.
women, and they're like two
Yeah.
blacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
like,
right,
two,
thank you
like,
guys
dark
so
skin.
much for doing
Bye.
this.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
Sierra. Bye, Lauren. Bye, Joelle. Bye,
Did you
Kim.
write yours down?